Hey everyone, this is Manish from SFDCFacts Academy, and unlike my other videos where I focus more on Salesforce development, this video is about Salesforce business users and Salesforce admins, and we will be specifically talking about Salesforce user adoption. And Salesforce user adoption has been a problem because it's a highly customizable platform with endless possibilities, which makes it one of the most powerful CRM, but also it makes it one of the most complex system for new users to learn, and these users are your business users or your end customers. Now you might be thinking why this user adoption is important and why being a Salesforce admin or being a Salesforce developer you never heard this term before, or you are never involved in developing solutions for user adoption. Let me tell you the reason why it's absolutely important to focus on user adoption, because Salesforce is a costly platform. Businesses invest thousands, if not millions, of dollars in procuring Salesforce licenses. On top of that, businesses hire engineers, which we call Salesforce admin or Salesforce developers, to build the end customer solutions. But if your customer adoption or if your user adoption is low, then it means less return of investment for these businesses. And in some cases, it's definitely possible to have lower return than the investment. So it makes total sense to focus on the strategies that will increase your user adoption and at the same time lower the user churn. That means the difficulties they face or the complexities they face to adopt to your solution. Now to track the user adoption rates, Salesforce provides some out of the box dashboards to track user adoption, or you can get some of these dashboards from App Exchange apps as well. And these dashboards can give you insights about how the users are adopting to your Salesforce solutions or to your Salesforce instance. Salesforce also announced in-app guidance couple of years back to build some solutions to increase user adoption. And this in-app guidance allows you to build guided flows in your Salesforce instance that can help your user in guiding through different steps to perform a different set of tasks. This in-app guidance is not the only solution to increase user adoption. There are a number of different strategies or different solutions that you can use to increase your overall user adoption. But in this video, we'll only be focusing on building the guided flows for our end customers. Although this in-app guidance allows you to build guided flows for your end customers, I'm not a very big fan of it because it has few limitations. First of all, it is not free, and that's a major pushback for small businesses. And the second thing is it's only available for Salesforce. So even though you are paying the price to get this feature, you can't use it outside Salesforce. So what if you have some other applications that are hosted in your own servers? You can't use this solution to train your users to use those systems. You can only use it for Salesforce. And the third thing is it has some other limitations as well, like you can only have 500 flows unless you are using any other managed package that can give you more of these flows. So what are the alternatives that we have? One of the best alternatives that I have found is called nudgealong.com, which allows you to build these small nudges. We can also call these guided flows for your end users. And the best part is, first of all, it's completely free for personal use. And the second thing is it works as a browser extension. That means not only Salesforce, you can build these nudges for any of the system that you use. Doesn't matter which website you are viewing in your browser, you can build nudges for that website. So in this video, I'm going to give you a quick overview of nudgealong.com and how you can build your guided flow. In the end of the video, I'm also going to share some of the nudges that I already built so that you guys can start using these in your own Salesforce instance. For now, let's go to nudgealong.com and you will come on this page. If you don't have an account with nudgealong.com yet, just click on login and sign up, and here you can use Google as one of the sign-in method, which I prefer. And once you are in your account, you will be taken to My Nudges page, which means all the nudges that you have built will be shown here. You might not see any of the nudges in your account yet because you haven't built one, but you can see in my screen I see many of those because I have been experimenting with nudgealong for some time now and I've already built some of the nudges. So creating an account is just the first step. You also need to get their browser extension. So let's quickly open Chrome Web Store, and from there we'll be searching for nudgealong.com. So just type in nudgealong in the search box and it should show this extension called nudgealong. I already have it installed, that's why it says remove from Chrome, but you will see an install button here. So go ahead and install this extension for your browser. Once you do that, now you are ready to create some powerful nudges and share it with your team. So now we will be building a couple of quick nudges and I'll show you the features of this tool. So go ahead and launch this extension. Once you do that, then you will be seeing this screen, and here you will also get a button called build a nudge. The first nudge that we'll be making is how we can create a task and assign it to a user. So I'm going to name it as create a task and assign to user. So that's the name of the nudge. Now you can also edit its detail. You can give it a description if you want. You can add tags and keywords to it again if you want. And you can also give it a URL. In the configuration, you can select the theme. They have 3 themes: classic, modern and ivory. Classic is default one, but you can choose any of these. For now, we'll go ahead with classic, and then we'll save this part. And here you will see a button called add step. So first thing that I'm going to do, let's add a new step here, and then it opens a prompt and it allows you to select the elements on the web page. So we will need to go to task tab, and here it automatically picks the text from that particular element, and then you can give it any of the description as well. Then you can also choose the layout of this pop-up window, like how you want to show this pop-up window. Do you want to show it on the left side, on the right hand side? So before we go ahead and save this step, I also want to show you these step completion rules, which are manual or automated. In manual, you can select one of these options to mark this step as autocomplete. For example, if you choose on click of selected element, which is a default option, then as soon as the user clicks on this task button, this tooltip will be hidden and the next step will be shown. But if you want to disable this behavior, then you can choose another option called on click of next button, which is going to show this next button here. And what it means is user has to specifically click on this next button in order to see the next step. Along with this, we have other options as well, which we'll be exploring as we build our nudges. Similar to manual, we have automated steps as well, which has its own options. You can feel free to explore those. For now, I'm going to go ahead with the default options. We'll save this step, and then I'm going to perform that step myself. So that will be on the next screen. So now once the user clicks on task, this is what they are supposed to see. So I'm going to add new step here, and this time I'm going to select this drop down, and I would say, see how smart it is. It automatically picked the title of that particular button, which says show more actions. Again, you can give a description here. I'm just gonna keep it as blank and save this step. Then I also want to show you how this tool can operate without this long pop-up window that you see. You can minimize it, and then still you can keep doing your task. So let's click on this button, and now we want to ask our user to click on this new task button. So I'm going to add one more step, select this thing here, but I want to position my element on the right hand side. So this is how I'm going to save it. So that's my third step. So here I can just simply say select the user, and this time instead of having this default option, which is on click of selected element, rather I'm going to use on click of next button, because this is a complex step, and just by clicking on this element doesn't suffice in selecting the user. So it's better to have the next button here. Then I'll also want to position it on the left side. Click save, and let's add one more step, and this time it's subject. So let's add subject, and in the completion rule, what I want is on typing text, because user will be typing a text here, and as soon as the user types the text, this should complete. Then I think let's also add something for the priority. So I'm going to add one more step, and it should show select priority. And as you can see, this is a smart tool and it automatically selected your step completion rule as selection change. But I don't want that, rather I want to have on click of selected element, because sometimes the priority could be the one which is already populated, the default one, right? So let's save this step as well and then add the last step which says save. And I want to keep it on the top of the element, so that's good. So that should be enough. Let's save it, save our nudge, and then we will be previewing it. So let's preview it, and it should open the same browser window and should start walking me through different options. So here it says task, click on task first. Let's do that. But because we added next button as our completion rule, it's still showing the same step unless you click on next. So let's click on next, and now it shows show more actions. Once we do that, it will ask us to create a new task, do everything that we want, select the person here. That's done. Click on next, add the subject, and you would see that as soon as we start typing here, it automatically fulfills and then goes to the next element. Again, you can select the priority, click on save, and this is how you have completed this nudge. So this is done, and now if I'll go back to my nudge along dashboard again, refresh my page, I should see this nudge here which I've just created, and then I can make it public as well. And if I make it public and open a private window here and go on nudgealong.com, you would see that my nudge should be listed there, which is this one. And if I unlist it, you should not be seeing that nudge here anymore. So that one is gone. So this is how easy it is to create your nudges and share it with the community. And this is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of exploring the features of this product. In our next nudge, we'll be exploring more of those features. So let's quickly, close this window and build a new nudge. And this time what I want to build is, let's go to our home page again, open the nudge along extension, and this should give us the button called build a nudge. And this time we'll be building a multi-page nudge. That means we'll be interacting with multiple web pages, but the tool will still keep us guiding. So let's build a new nudge, and this time maybe let's use our developer console and show our users how they can create an Apex class. So I'm going to build a nudge, name it as create an Apex class, and this time let's change the theme to maybe modern, save it, add our very first step, which should be clicking on this gear icon. So you see the theme is changed now, it's blue, and this is our very first step. I want to keep the pop-up position as is, so I'm just going to save this step. I'm going to minimize this as well, and as a next step I'm going to select developer console here, and that should be it. The step completion feature should be on click of selected element. Let's see what are the different advanced options that we see. And as you see, we can spotlight this as well. By spotlighting, it means it's only going to highlight this element and going to add an overlay to the rest of the web page. You can also add a back button so that user can go to the previous step again. We won't be using that. And you can also add display rules. We'll be exploring the display rules in our next step. For now, let's save this one and let's open our developer console. Let's add a new step, and I want our users to click on file, so let's select that. The position is correct. It is very smart tool, and maybe let's make it as spotlight as well. But in the display rule, I want to add a rule, and this should be based on URL, and it should contain only this thing, Apex CSI page. So what it means, if the user is on a different web page whose URL does not contain this keyword, then this step will not be shown. So you can actually control the step rules here, like when these steps should be shown. and they have some pretty powerful options here. You can control based on URL, you can control based on elements position on the page, you can control based on some attributes, some web page attributes or the element stage. So feel free to use these options as well. Again, these are like really powerful options. So I think I am good with this step. I'm going to save this one. Then let's actually minimize this again. Now I want our users to hover over this new option. So let's click on this new, and in step completion rule, this time let's select on hovering over selected element. So as soon as the user will hover over new button there, the step should be marked as complete. So let's save this one. Now let's add another step, and this time it should be Apex class. And instead of, yeah, I think all the options are correct, but I want to position it on the right. Let's save this step, actually make it as a spotlight again, or we can actually edit it and then also change the feature. So that's the beauty of this tool. You can go to any of this step and actually change configuration of that step. And the last step should be, which should come after clicking on Apex class. So let's add this step, and this time select this input box, enter Apex class name, and as the step completion rule, we can just simply say on typing text, and then in the, I think that should be enough, maybe move its position on the left, save this step, and the last step should be clicking on this button called OK, and that save step. And the end message, I can just simply type in, you can use same steps to create Apex triggers as well. Perfect. Let's save our nudge and then preview it. So let's click on setup, and as you see how it spotlights a particular element, let's click on developer console. It should open my developer console here. Let me just expand it, clear my developer console first, click on file, then it asks me to click on new, then as soon as move there, click Apex class. I might have to change the wording of these things, like instead of click on new, it should say hover on new, but that's fine. And then enter your Apex class name. Again, I made it as a spotlight, and as soon as I start typing it, it should go to the next element, and here it should ask us to click OK. And once you do that, then it says the end steps that we have written, the message. You can use the same steps to create Apex trigger as well. So that's how this tool works. Again, it's free of cost, and you can use it for your personal use. And also I would definitely ask you to go to the nudgealong.com and explore their library. You can even select by a product type. So if you click on Salesforce here, you will only see the Salesforce nudges, and some of these might be useful to you and your users. So that's everything that I wanted to cover in this video. If you guys have any question or having any difficulties in using this particular product, you can comment in this video and I'll try to answer as soon as I can.